Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today I want to talk about when you're enjoying the rain. It has officially started raining where I live in California, and the temperature drops so much. I mean, it was so needed, and it's so nice when it's raining. And I myself love the rain. I think it's such a beautiful part of life. It's one of those things that I never get tired of. And hopefully other people don't. It's one of those things, it's not an everyday thing. I obviously couldn't live where it rained 24/7, but rain every now and again, especially because California's in a drought. It's been hot for so long, all summer long, and the rain is very much needed, and I really enjoy it. I love it. So I wanted to talk about it. It's been raining or drizzling, kind of. It comes and goes. It really depends. Like 1 minute it'll be like heavy raining, and then the next second it's like sun's out and rainbows and it's hot again. And you're like, oh my goodness, why can't it just rain more, So I just want to start off by saying that I love the rain. Rain is amazing. It's one of my favorite things about the weather, about nature. You just kind of 1 minute it's like, the clouds start forming, they turn gray, and then they just release all of this goodness of water. It's really fun. It's something that I've attached to my childhood, so there's an attachment there. I mean, everybody has a certain attachment to a part of the weather, I guess, right? Everybody has some people are more attached to the summertime because they equate maybe their birthday to it or the summer with it, and others are like, I like the flowers, I like the spring, I like it to, I like the allergies, I guess. And other people are kind of, including myself, I'm more of a winter person. I was born in the winter, and I like the cold for some reason. I always just like the cold a lot more. It's just a little bit more satisfying for me, and that's why I gravitate towards the rain, because it cools everything down, and you get that fresh rain smell when you step outside after it rains at night. When it rains at night is really good because you get into that deep sleep, and you really enjoy the pitter patter of the rain falling down. You're like, life couldn't be better than this, and you're like curled up in a blanket and it's cold out, and you're just like, life is nice. Life is really, really good right now. So for me, whenever it rains, it just makes me feel more at peace. It makes me feel a lot better about everything. It kind of just forces you to enjoy the good stuff inside, because obviously there's a bunch of things you can't do while it's raining outside. You can't, you could, but, the chances of you getting sick, like, when I was a kid, if you, went out in the rain, the chances of you getting sick were really high, but that's because you weren't exposed to everything yet, right? You didn't get everything right then and there, like when you're an adult. So in a way, you have to go into the rain in order to fight the sicknesses and the colds that, would later on down the road you won't get. So you can actually enjoy the rain later on in life, So there's probably like an 80-year-old woman who loves the rain, who goes out in the rain constantly and just grabbing water and just kind of enjoying the good times. Or she's in a retirement home crying about how it's raining and it makes her depressed. Either way, life is better with rain. And when the rain comes, especially in California, we're all kind of like, yes, keep it going. We have such a love for it and such a hankering. We need it. It's something we genuinely need, that when it comes by, everybody's like, it's raining. Did you see it's raining? It's raining. It rained a lot. Let's hope it rains more and more and more and more and more. And we need so much of it, especially in this part. And it also helps us to, no more fires get spread, and no more baby showers or baby reveals where they exploding fireworks in their backyard, and you're like, why are they doing that? And then the baby gets born, and you're like, yeah, you started a fire, little guy, and you're just kind of like, what? What's going on? So that's what the rain is really for. That's why I love the rain, because it stops idiots from their baby reveals and starting fires out where it's very dry, and dry grass, dead grass, really. And then they set it on fire by trying to show that they're going to have a baby boy or something. But again, when I was a kid, I only had good memories of the rain. I can't name a specific time where I was like, oh, I'm sad because it's raining. It was like, it's raining, let's go outside, let's play, let's jump in puddles, let's hang out, let's do something, in the rain. And even if we weren't allowed to go outside, it was more about being inside. You know what I mean? If you can't go outside, you have to enjoy time on the inside. So before all of this 2020 stuff, when we all had digital technology 24/7, when we had to go inside, we would play board games, or we would have to be creative, And not that I didn't have like video games or TV to watch and like consume during that time, but it was, you watch a movie here and there, and then you kind of get bored of it, and then you go on to something else. You start playing video games, you start watching old home movies. I remember it was raining, and we used to watch the VHS tapes of all of those old classic Disney movies. Like we would watch what was it called? It was like Oliver and the Cat Company or something. It was about this cat, Oliver, and he gets... So there's this cat, Oliver, essentially, and he is orphaned, or he just like gets left in a cat box, like little kitties in a box on the street in New York City, and he gets not adopted, but he meets this dog who's street smart in New York City, and they form a friendship of like homeless dogs, or dogs that grow up without really any home per se, but they do have an owner, sort of, who takes care of them, but he's also homeless. So it's kind of like, you don't really know if they really have a home or if they don't, but they have their own little community of dogs, of stray dogs. And Oliver joins them. He's a part of the gang. He's small and he's cute, and he's able to distract people so the dogs can scheme them and take food and whatnot. So overall, when it was raining, we would watch those, and I would be like, oh man, rainy days are for these kinds of movies, and I love this type of moment. Or rainy days are for when we sit at home and after school and we watch movies, or we can't go out to recess, so we stay inside and we play like, we do all kinds of different games to play. They would do, like, it would be raining or something, I think, and they would make you do that Heads Up 7-Up game, which now looking at it is just like, why did we play that game? Why couldn't we just have like some more free time to do whatever? But it was just, we would play that game instead of going outside to recess, or instead of going outside to wait for our parents. I think they would like pull up and we would just wait in the classroom or something. I can't really remember right now per se, but those are the kinds of things that I attribute to the rain. When I hear it, it just brings me peace, and also reminds me of the good times when I was little, when I could think back to those good old rainy days and just be like, ah, man, I remember when it was raining out there and we were playing with our toys, or we were eating a home-cooked meal that was like perfect for that day. It was like really cold outside, but inside it was warm and it felt nice, and hanging out on the couch watching the TV and feeling like it was forever, feeling like that moment could really stay inside of your heart for a long time. And that's why I really, really love the rain. Some people can be hit or miss with it. Some people find it really depressing. They think it brings down their mood a lot because there's not as much sunshine. It's not as playful for them. It's not as much fun. They can't go outside to play or do any other activity, and it just feels like a hassle to them. But for me, I mean, I love it. I love the rain. And I can think of numerous times when it would rain and the floors would get all mushy. I mean, what am I talking about? Mud would happen. The dirt would get soaked up by the rain, and there would just be a bunch of mud. And when I was very, very little, I would, like 3 or 4, I would crawl in the mud all day. Even if it didn't rain, if like you just had the hose, you would just like lay in the mud and play in the mud and have fun with that stuff. I remember I used to play in the mud a lot, and then my mom would be like, all right, we got to clean you up. We can't have you looking like this the whole time. So she would give me like a bath, and she would clean me up, give me some fresh clothes, get me all cleaned up. And then I would go back in the mud, and she's like, oh my goodness, what in the world is going on? I just cleaned you up. And I'm like playing in the mud, and I'm like, I'm a baby. I don't know what I'm doing. But I knew what I was doing. I wanted to play in that mud. And the day after it rains, where like maybe the clouds go away and it's sunny again, the mud is still there. It's still wet. It's still fresh. And I remember throwing mud at my brother and him throwing mud back at me, and we're just like, ew, gross. And then we're just sliding in the mud and we're having fun. And that's really what it's all about. What I remember the most about rain was all of the extra stuff that we normally wouldn't do. So when the dirt is just dry, regular, we were just kind of like, whatever, it's dirt. It's just there. We just run on top of it. It doesn't matter. But once it became all wet and muddy, we would just have the best time. It would be a new game. It would be something completely different, something completely new. And I guess there are pros and cons to that. Like, I would go outside barefoot to play in the mud. I couldn't go in like my shoes or whatever because they would get all messed up. Oh, and at school, it rained one day, right? And you know how you have to like walk in single file to go back to class, which is like, why, But the big thing was to avoid the mud puddles, because you'll slip and you'll fall and you'll get into the mud. So I remember it like it was yesterday. It was April Fool's Day. It was April 1st, right? And we're walking to class, and I was just like, I'm going to walk on the mud puddle because I don't think I'm going to trip. I can't slip and fall. I take no L's. I don't, you can't catch me off balance. So I do what I do, and I start walking towards the mud puddle. And sure enough, I slip and I fall on my butt. Now, where I went to school, you had to wear a uniform. So the uniform was jeans or khakis. And you had to wear like this polo shirt. It could be red, white. It could be any kind of colored polo shirt, I believe. But it had to be a polo shirt. And you had to tuck it in, and you had to do the whole thing, right? So I slip and I fall into the mud, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I April fooled myself. Like, I thought I wouldn't be tricked into slipping in the mud, but I tricked myself. I pulled an April Fool's on myself, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my goodness. And those were my only pants for the rest of the day. So I was just like, oh man, why did I do that? So I had to go to the nurse's office, and she supplied me with new pants, like shorts or something. And my mom had to pick up my pants, and I was just like, yeah, listen, Mom, I was just trying to not slip in the mud, and they told me not to go into the puddle, but I went into the puddle because I didn't think I was going to slip. And then all the rest of the time that I was there, I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm never going to, like, want to do something just to prove that it won't happen to me. Like, I'm not going to walk on a mud puddle ever again to try to act like I can't slip on it. Or you know how maybe like you're driving and you're like, oh, that could never happen to me. Why is certain things would happen to you when you're driving, and then you try it out and then bad things happen. It's kind of like that, where you're driving and you're like, I bet I could do it. I'm different, I'm driving and it won't go down or be bad for me. And so you're driving, and then you try it out, and then devastation happens. You crash the car. You can't parallel park or whatever, you know. But it turns out you just have to avoid it completely and find a new parking spot or go somewhere else or do something different. That's what I learned from mud. That's what I learned from the rain. And that was kind of an embarrassing moment. But, you know, I moved on past it, and I never made that mistake again. And those are one of the special moments that I carry with me, that I'm like, that's a lesson from the mud, or a lesson from the rain. You know, you don't want to go looking, you know, you don't want to go looking for a challenge or something that's going to give you trouble. You just, if things happen, they happen. But if you're actively going after something that's going to potentially humiliate you or embarrass you, don't do it, because the chances of you getting embarrassed and humiliated are very, very high. I learned that from slipping on the mud. And they also have, but I do think it's cool to do like those mud runs. Like I see those events where you can go on mud runs, and it's just what it sounds. It's just this muddy field, and you have to go running through it. I think it's like 5K or something like that. And I always looked at that, and I was kind of like, why would anybody volunteer to do that? Like, you're just going to get covered in gunk. I didn't really see the point of it. And then I was just kind of like, but I mean, it's fun, right? It's just exercise, and if you slip and fall, you slip and fall. I guess that's the joy of it, right? You get a bunch of your friends to go running with you on the mud trail, and then you like push each other, or you like kind of mess with each other so that you trip and fall. You know, because if you get through the whole mud thing without yourself like covered in mud, you did it wrong, I think. And back to the rain. When you're running in the rain, because I've had to run in the rain a few times, I think it's not really good. I mean, I didn't run in the rain on purpose. I was running, and then it just so happened to start raining. So I wasn't prepared for the rain. I was wearing like a t-shirt and some shorts, and I was just running. And then it just starts all of a sudden raining, and you're like, oh boy, I gotta get home. But the trail back home, you can either turn around and run it back, or you just finish the rest of the trail. And I was like at the halfway point, and at that point I was just kind of like, okay, let's just finish the rest of it instead of just turning back and running, because it's the same distance. So I finished the rest of the run, and as I'm doing it, I'm soaked. I'm covered in water. I'm just drenched. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta shower. I gotta get dry. I gotta get clean. And when I tell you, that shower was the best shower. I mean, it's one of those moments, like maybe after you go swimming in the pool, you kind of have like this different shower sensation when you get clean water on you. It's not chlorinated, or it's not salty like seawater. It's just clean, pure clean water. And you get the shampoo, and you rub the soap, and you feel brand new. You come back to life. And after it rained, I was really cold. I was all wet, and I get myself I shower, I clean up, and then I put on just layers of clothes. I put on a hoodie. I put on sweatpants, and I put shorts on underneath the sweatpants, and I had a t-shirt on, and I just felt this warmth, this hugging warmth of just like, things are okay. This feels nice. It feels good. It's one of those joys for going through something that was kind of not good. I guess it's imagine you're running through the desert, and then all of a sudden you find like this frozen oasis, you know? You're running in the desert, you're scarce for water, and then you come across this oasis with the coldest, freshest water and green palm trees, and it's a paradise out there, and you don't feel hot or anything. You feel cool, you feel refreshed. That's how this is, but in the reverse way. You kind of get showered with warmth, and you're just like, life is good now. Life feels great. And that's also a moment that I have that was pretty recent. I think it was like 2 years ago that happened. And I just remember falling in love with the rain again. I was just, now I don't actively pursue running in the rain, but if it were to happen again, I would want to have that feeling again. I would love to go through that. And there are also, I guess, moments in like training maybe where you have to go running, like in the military. If you go running in the rain, like you have no choice. You're going for your workout, you know, and the conditions aren't always going to be perfect. So it's kind of a part of the whole process to go through it. And then you get used to it, and maybe you wear a raincoat so that way your clothes don't get totally soaked. And I think me being outside in the rain more just gives me more love for it. If you're not actively participating in the rain, that's what it is. I'm participating in the rainy weather. When I do that, I feel so good about myself, about the earth. I just really like it. It's so cool that something like that happens. And I really enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. What I don't enjoy, here's some cons about the rain. People do not know how to drive in the rain. All of a sudden it rains and everybody just doesn't understand the rules of the road anymore. It's like, can you not turn on your blinkers? Can you not like stop at the last second? Because I'm still driving here and there's space between us, but we don't know how wet the road is. So what if I brake too soon and it ends up having me slide into you more or something like that? And there's this YouTube video. I forget what it is. I think it's called Post 12. Post 12. He posts these unclogging drain videos while it's raining. Oh my gosh, they're so satisfying. They're really great. It's a good deep dive into YouTube. Like it's 2 or 3 a.m. and you're just kind of like on your phone and you can't fall asleep, but you're watching this YouTube video and it's so satisfying. It's so calming and peaceful. And he's like raking all the leaves out of the pipes so that way the rainwater can flow and drain the road. And there's a moment in one of the videos where they're literally driving on the sidewalk and it's like, can you just like slow down and drive through the water? But I guess if you have no other options, right? But I tell you, there's so many instances where things are going fine on the road and then it starts raining and then everything changes. Like nobody understands how to drive anymore. Nobody knows to like check your rear view mirrors or your side mirrors and kind of like look over your shoulder to see if another car's coming. It's like, it's raining, I can't see anything. I'm gonna go here and there and there and there and do this. And you're just like, slow down, all right? Turn on your high beams or whatever you have to do so that way you can see, and then slow it down and drive. That's how we're gonna make it through rainy weather. You don't just go, whatever, let's just do whatever because it's raining. No, you got to follow the rules of the road. That's what I hate the most, is when other people don't know how to drive when it's raining, or like when any weather changes. Like sometimes it'll be foggy outside and I'll have like my high beams on and then another car will just come by and I'll be like, where's your lights? I can't see you. Until you like stop or you brake and then the lights start coming up. I'm like, what is going on here? Why are you doing this to me? I can't see anything. So I always try to be extra safe when the weather's not ideal. And that's pretty basic. You know, I think everybody should do that, but not everybody does. And that's why I don't like when the weather does that or when it starts raining and that happens, because it puts my life in danger. I need to be safe, especially when driving, because there's too many mistakes. There's too many wild people out there, and I have to be extra careful, extra precautious. So I do what I can, but man, other people they suck, especially when it's raining. So that's one of the cons about it. The other con, I think, is it just makes you, I mean, if it rained 24/7 for me, I think it would be a little bit more sad. the days would be more sad, right? You wouldn't be as excited to go out and do stuff. Because, like, if you had to get up and go, I don't know. If you had to get up and go grocery shopping while it's raining, there's a lot more problems that come with that, right? Because then the shopping cart full of groceries, and it's raining, and they all get wet, and you're just like, I don't want water in this. How do I cover it up? I have to get back to the car. I have to put it in the car. It's a whole hassle. You don't want to do that. Or maybe you do you hate to run in the rain, and you go on a daily run or a walk, or you take your baby out on a stroll and it's raining, and you're like, the rain is like coming in every which direction, and it keeps getting on the baby, and I don't want the baby to get sick. Or you get sick from the rain, and then you're stuck inside in bed for like 2 weeks trying to like get over this cough or this runny nose and sneezing and allergies. And it just brings down your mood. I heard some people talk about it, be like, yeah, I don't like the rain because it just makes me feel sad. It makes me feel depressed a lot more. I was like, I couldn't relate, because so many times I'm just like, indoors are great, and I love the rain. The rain gives me a lot of moments, gives me a lot of good memories and a lot of good moments, But imagine, like, the worst day of your life happens, and it rains on that day. Like, you're going to associate the rain with that terrible day. You're going to be like, yo, this day sucks, and the rain sucks. I hate it when it rains. And I remember there was this, I think it was this Dalmatian movie, 101 Dalmatians. Like, it was 101, or was it 102? It was something around there. It was like one of those Dalmatian movies, and the dog was like, the dogs were all gathered around, and they were talking to each other, and things got really depressing. And the dog was kind of just talking like, why does it always rain whenever things get sad? Or something like that. And I thought that was really funny. I was imagining it like, how depressing and sad would it be if your girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with you, and then it started raining? You're like, your emotions come through the weather. The weather's like, is a paid actor. It's helping, it's bringing down your mood so much more. But I guess if things were to happen to you on a sunny day, you wouldn't be excited about sunny days. You would actually despise sunny days. You would hate the clear weather. You would hate those days because something terrible happened to you on that day. But I find more people are depressed by the rain. A lot more people don't find as much comfort or as much, I guess, happy emotions towards it. They just kind of are like, yeah, it rains sometimes, and I get sad by it, but, it doesn't bother me all that much. Or sometimes it brings down my mood, or it makes me, gives me a hassle because sometimes I get sick, or somebody else will get sick in my family or my friends or whatnot, and I have to be careful so that way I don't do anything to get sick myself, especially now because of the pandemic. Nobody wants to get any more diseases, I guess. So, but that's never been the case for me. I've never thought of the rain as depressing. It was always more of like a happy thing, a joyous thing. It's finally raining. The rain has come. The rain is here. But there's also people who live in Hawaii. I went to Hawaii, and it rains there. I mean, there are so many different places where it's like raining all the time. And it's just a natural part of the environment. And because you're on vacation, and because it's on the equator, it's so tropical and it's so beautiful, and the humidity's there, you just feel that the rain belongs. It's a part of you. It's a part of that place, and you come to love it. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed it, is the rain made it a little bit more peaceful, and it made it feel more tropical, and it made me get new memories that associate good times with it. So we went on this trail to this waterfall, and there was like a rainbow in the sky, and it was raining a little bit, and there's this pitter patter on the floor as you're walking through the trail and mud, and you see all of this life around you, green leaves and trees and everything, and it just looks so beautiful and peaceful, and you're like, how could anything so gorgeous exist? You know, how could a small little trip from over here to there be so different and create this experience where you're just like, I want to do that every single day. And if I could, I would. I definitely would do that every single day. Go on that trail and on that hike. It brings out something in me that's just the love that I have for nature. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain times where I'm like, I don't want it to rain. I don't want to be soaked. I want to be dry. I want sunny and happy days. But there's something about certain environments when it rains. So if you live in Hawaii, you just get used to the rain, and you get used to that kind of a thing. Whereas if you live here in California, it rains so little that you're so used to the sunlight. You're so used to the maybe more wind than rain. But when it does rain, you're a little bit more like, yes, it's raining. Yes, we need the rain. More rain. And I like that. And it fits my mood the best. But there are some depressing memories or associations to the rain that people have. But that was never me. And one of the things that I like about rainy days was probably the food. Because when we were stuck inside and we couldn't go outside, like, my mom would she would just kind of make whatever. But when it would be on rainy days, and I would always be like, I want soup. Like, if it rains or if it's cold outside, soup is the go-to. A nice broccoli cheddar soup. And I remember this so well. We were watching the Beauty and the Beast upstairs in the VHS, VHS player, the TV. It was the whole thing. And we were watching it, and we come downstairs for like a little break because we were watching the movie and we just like wanted to get a snack or something to drink. So we came down and we saw my mom was making soup, and it was raining outside. So all of these little factors came together, and after the movie we came down, we ate our soup, and it was without a doubt one of my favorite. It's so vivid in my mind how delicious it was, how the whole day was just kind of perfect, where it was raining outside and we were watching a great movie, and then we came to a delicious hot soup, broccoli cheddar soup. It was so creamy and delicious, and it had like the heartiness and the healthy side from the broccoli, but there was also cheese in there, and I think they put carrots in there, like little like chopped up carrots. It was so good. And so now whenever it rains, I want soup. Like, you're conditioned. I conditioned myself to like want something hot and something liquidy, you know? It's kind of the feeling I get about hot chocolate when it's Christmas time. Like, it's really cold outside. I want to go out there and sip some hot cocoa and marshmallows on top and a whipped cream, so that way it gets really really milky and delicious and good. And that's why I kind of love the rain so much, is because there's so many factors to it that matter to me and appeal to me. So when it rains outside, I put on a good movie. I put on something that's going to last throughout the whole day. Or I watch a collection of maybe a TV show of some sort, or an idea, or I take a nap, especially sleeping. Sleeping is the best thing. Sleeping is really one of the coolest parts about the rain. Let's talk about it. The absolute peace that you get when it's raining outside and there's like a little thunder outside. It's that little thunderstorm that's going on out there, but it's raining heavy. It's pouring hard. And you're in your bed and you snuggle up and you're on your phone, or you're just like trying to think of the rain outside and the pitter patter, the drops hitting the floor. I mean, there is definitely no better feeling in the world than that moment right there. Is when it's raining outside, and there's something about it. You can listen to like ASMR videos of the rain falling, and that kind of satisfies you. It kind of doesn't. I mean, it's nothing like the real thing. When it's actually happening, it's the best thing in the world. Because you can feel it. You can feel the rain, even when you're inside and in your bed, covered in blankets. Like, you can feel that it's raining, and it's all around you. And you just take it in, and it gives you this beautiful peace. It definitely gives peace to me. It makes me feel so much more at ease and calm. And when I go to sleep and I wake up, it's the best sleep I've ever had. You just feel so refreshed, and you feel so new, and you just know that it's going to be one of those moments where you feel genuinely revived, like you just came back to life. You're like, oh man, that was the best nap or the best sleep I've ever gotten, because it was raining outside, and then it's still like the sun is coming out, and the little drops that were left from the other day are still there, and the ground and the fresh grass smells like fresh rain, and it's muddy a little bit, so you're just kind of like, you get that after rain day, and you just feel good. You feel good about the earth. You feel good about your day. That's just how I feel. I think it introduced me to, when it rains, it really introduced me to another lifestyle that I think I need in my life, another aspect that I enjoy about the weather, or something that I genuinely love that I can't control. Like, I can't control when it rains, but when it happens, there are certain conditions that I'm in control of to make it so much better. So I can't control when it rains, but when it does, I can watch a movie, and then I can make some soup. And then when I make some soup, I can get into my bed and then just listen to the downpour of the rain and snuggle up and have the best sleep, because that's when it happens for me. You know, creating the conditions to live, to enjoy that moment. Because there's certain times, especially now, where it rains and then it goes away so quickly. I'm like, I need more rain. You know, that's the general idea. And here in California, at least, is that we need more rain. And when it just starts and then stops, and then it comes back and then it goes away, and then it comes back and then it goes away, and you're like, I can't even enjoy it, you know, for too long. So it's during that moment you have to appreciate it for the time that you have it. And that's kind of something that I learned while living here in California, is that it doesn't last forever, and if you don't enjoy it while you can, you're not gonna have a good time. So now, whenever it rains, I try my best to record it, or get maybe like some sound of it, so that way I can like go to sleep to it, or remember that day, or remember that feeling of just being there in the moment and soaking it all in. Remembering the good times, remembering that broccoli cheddar soup, remembering playing in the mud as a kid, remembering that run and how it felt to come back and to be clean, to be warm, and to feel good. There's beauty in that. There's something I really enjoy about it, and I don't know how it necessarily. I mean, I guess it applies to life, because it rains some days and some days it doesn't, but it just really taught me that you have to appreciate certain moments, and when they come, you gotta maximize that moment to the best of your ability. And if you don't, then you're missing out. I feel like you're missing out if you don't. When those moments come, you don't utilize it to its full potential. That's why whenever something new comes my way, I try to like use most of it as possible. Like, when I go to a new hotel, before, like when I was a kid, I was like, okay, I don't want to do anything here. This isn't my house. I don't want to make a mess of anything or do anything that's like out of place. Now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, of course I'm going to use course I'm going to use the shower. Of course I'm going to do this. Of course I'm going to do that. I'm going to try all these different things inside the hotel. I'm going to try the free breakfast. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. And it's just because in that moment, I'm appreciating for what I have right then and there. Something that's so different. And I don't know, that's how I feel about those certain things. And that's what happens when I enjoy the rain. When I'm enjoying the rain, I do the best that I can to appreciate the moment. And I carry that with me through so many other things. And hopefully, other people do too. Hopefully I'm not just rambling on about nothing. So, in conclusion, when you're enjoying the rain, remember solid memories, maximize it to your fullest, and enjoy the moment. Have fun with it. And definitely, sleep when it's raining. Take a nap. Do something. Because that moment is beautiful. It truly is. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. It's the sound. It's the atmosphere. You know that it's raining. It feels like the perfect condition for sleeping. It just really does for me. But anyways, I hope you guys like this episode. It's been raining a lot more, so I wanted to talk about the rain and how I feel about it and how it connects to my life. And hopefully, it connects to yours as well. This has been the Win Your Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.